I'm retired.
St. Pete Beach retiree Robert Schnorf is seeing his property insurance soar. Robert just found out his rate will jump from about $3,000 to $5,000, nearly $1,800 more a year.
I try to do things to minimize my monthly living expenses, and things just happen out of the blue that I have no control over.
This weekend, hundreds of Floridians emailed me with a similar story. The rate is dramatically increasing, or their policy is being dropped. State Senator Jeff Brandes says it's time for Governor Ron DeSantis to call a special session for insurance reform. What does the governor say?
I would welcome that.
Today, Governor DeSantis signaled that he welcomes a special session, but it doesn't sound like he's issuing a directive to force lawmakers back to Tallahassee. Leadership from the Florida House and Senate could force them back, though. I understand that Senator Simpson and Representative Sprouse can issue a joint call for a special session, so I wanted to know if they were planning on doing that. Tonight, reps for the Speaker of the House and the Senate President tell me they have no comment at this time. 10 days ago, Senator Wilton Simpson seemed open to a special session.
There's a possibility. We have many companies going out of business. It's certainly a crisis.
A crisis that's hitting families across the Bay Area. Robert says the dramatic spike in price just isn't fair.
The last time I made a homeowner's claim was in 1992.
And that homeowner, Robert, tells me that his neighbors are also seeing their rates dramatically spike, and some who don't have a mortgage and they're able to do this are thinking about dropping their insurance altogether and self-insuring.
There is no money.
For homeowners like Lonnie Brown, panic is setting in. Lonnie's annual property insurance rate increased by $2,000. You're in tears.
Yes.
You're afraid you're going to lose your house.
Eventually. I can't afford this. And we barely get by with the bills anyway. And this comes up. We do not have the money to do that.
The Florida Office of Insurance Regulation oversees the industry. It's Commissioner David Altmaier's job to promote a stable market for consumers like Lonnie. Last week, Altmaier gave the state cabinet an update.
We continue to work around the clock on this.
Like lawmakers, Altmaier says the cost of roof claims is driving the premium spike. To help cut the cost of these claims for the first time, the commissioner is offering a choice: less roof coverage for a discounted premium. The Office of Insurance Regulation will soon allow insurers to offer consumers roof deductibles and a schedule on what will be paid on roof replacements.
So, again, these are at the options for consumers to choose if they wish.
In theory, it sounds great.
Ronald Assisi, an insurance broker, says the commissioner's administrative move may not have widespread impact. Why? It's not a mandate, so insurance companies must ask for this option and consumers must opt into it.
In the absence of a large adoption rate, it will literally do very little to nothing.
Soaring property insurance is a continuing problem in Florida. Homeowners like Lonnie are begging for relief, hoping lawmakers will act.
And I cannot be the only one in this situation. Maybe somebody will listen.
So last week, reporters asked the insurance commissioner whether a special session was needed on property insurance rates, and he did not say yes. The commissioner would only say, Keith, that all parties need to stay diligent.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. And try to maintain my composure.
Tonight, two seniors who turned to Aid on Your Side brought to tears, but this time, tears of joy. This month, we introduced you to the two homeowners unable to pay their new higher property insurance premiums.
Both feared they would be losing their homes. Aid on Your Side investigator Masa Saidi joining us tonight with the update.
Keith and Stacy, after sharing Tad and Lonnie's story, we were inundated with messages, but two viewers didn't just open their heart to these men, they opened their pocketbook.
I am overwhelmed. I don't know. I can't grasp this. Thanks is all I could say.
Tonight, 2 Bay Area seniors know they can afford to stay in their home for at least another year. Earlier this month, Tad Buell and Lonnie Brown called 8 on Your Side after their annual property insurance rate increased by about $2,000.
I don't know where or what else I can cut out of my lifestyle.
We do not have the money to do that.
Moved to ACT, 2 different viewers wanted to give an anonymous donation. Here's the moment where we delivered the checks to Tad and Lonnie.
A lot of people were moved by your story, and one wanted me to give you this gift.
Gee whiz.
$2,000 in a money order.
Wow. Thank you so much. That will go a long way. $2,000. Good grief. Well, I appreciate it. And thank you, and try to maintain my composure. I am without words. Like, just this dropping in my lap is overwhelming. And I thank you, and I thank them. They're truly angels on earth.
We love our viewers. Now, Tad and Lonnie did pay a portion of their bill. The Good Samaritans paid the rate increase. The Senate is willing to act. Senate Bill 1728 passed this session. So this question is for you, Governor, and you, Speaker. How many companies have to fail, and how high do rates have to go before you agree to take action on this issue on April 19th?
I'm ready. I will sign. I'm ready. We did something in 2021 that's brought 2 companies in. It was not enough.
State leaders say your premiums are rising because of widespread litigation, specifically roof replacement fraud. To fight the fraud, last year, lawmakers capped attorney fees in some cases. Was that reform enough? The governor said no at a news conference in Polk County Friday, but House Speaker Chris Sprouse disagreed.
Last year, we passed one of the most expansive reforms to the insurance industry that's ever been done in Florida. One thing that happens is that you talk about this all the time is that it takes 18 months to see those reflected in the rates. We're about 6 months out from that.
The speaker says more time is needed to see the impact of last year's changes. But homeowners, at times in tears over premiums, want action now. Just weeks ago, the Senate passed a reform bill some advocates supported. The governor said he'd sign it, but the bill died in the House. Speaker, the Senate is willing to act and the governor is willing to act. I'm being told that you are the one that is not willing to act during this special session.
So I think you answered enough for you? Okay. So I would just say, if we need to do anything to bring them back, for this, we're staying ready, willing, and able to do it. Whether it can happen in April, I think if they work together, I'm happy to I'm happy to sign that.
We're going to force a special session unless the governor acts.
Not sitting by, State Senator Jeff Brandes says he's ready to use a legal maneuver to force a special session. Tomorrow, step 1, the senator will work to get 20% of the legislature on board. Do you think your plan will work?
Floridians will be able to see which House members and senators are standing with them and which ones are standing against them.
So more on that legal move to force a special session. When 20% of members agree in writing to reconvene, the remaining lawmakers will soon be polled. If 3/5 of both chambers vote yes, we've got a special session. Jim Nastelli has called Spring Hill home for 25 years. He tells me he's never filed an insurance claim on this property.
I don't know what we're going to do.
But come August 28th, smack dab middle of hurricane season, Jim will lose his coverage.
I don't have $10,000 to put on the roof of my house.
American Integrity Insurance is canceling Jim's policy. The notice states roof age is ineligible. Jim's roof is 11 years old.
So I may end up going without insurance.
Isn't that risky?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. If we're without insurance and the house gets torn up in a hurricane, we're screwed.
Please tell me why it was canceled.
But in Florida, even a new roof won't save you. Tom Calantuno installed a new roof, hot water heater, AC unit, and windows. Then FedNat Insurance canceled his coverage, along with that of 68,000 other Floridians.
And they just want to give me, 6 weeks notice to go find another carrier. I mean, it's ridiculous.
State regulators and insurance companies say frivolous, even fraudulent lawsuits are raising rates and bankrupting companies. Tom is done with the excuses from Tallahassee.
Okay? Please get off your butts and do something. Help the people. Don't just help yourselves.
Do you think they should be going after fraud in the special session?
Yes. Yes.
Tonight, the countdown to hurricane season, just 9 days away. Tom and Jim need lawmakers to take action now, enacting major reforms.
There's no reason why the insurance companies getting screwed by somebody should come out of my pocket. I didn't do it.
Tampa State Rep Jackie Toledo will carefully consider proposed legislation for the special session Monday. In the past, insurance companies initially denied claims at 2 of her properties. Toledo, a member of the Insurance and Banking Subcommittee, says what you might be thinking.
But I think the insurance companies are part of the problem. I think their model is to deny.
They want to disarm homeowners.
Chris Sprouse is in a position of power, the Speaker of the Florida House. For weeks, 8 on Your Side pushed for a special session to bring desperate homeowners relief. Last month, we asked Speaker Sprouse why, as rates doubled, he wanted to do nothing. The Speaker against a special session.
We believe in reform. That's why we had a significant reform last year. And
but it was eviscerated by the court.
That's not true at all.
10 months ago, that significant reform, Senate Bill 76, went into effect. Immediately, the provision that restricted solicitation by roofers was blocked by a judge. While the court isn't blocking other portions of the law, including changes to the attorney fee statute.
It's the attorney fee statute that drives costs.
It's unclear if regulators are enforcing SB 76. In a statement, the Department of Business and Professional Regulation told me, quote, a federal injunction prohibits the enforcement of the advertising provision. Other provisions have been challenged in a related case. So to date, no contractors have been disciplined.
We're probably 6 months out from that bill really impacting people.
What data are you looking at that makes you think it's okay to wait? Because the data that I'm getting by the people that want change all points to you cannot wait, that you need to take action now. Yes, you have the attorney fees, but why not fight this fire with 2 hoses?
Okay, what's the second hose?
1728.
Which does what?
The one where they wouldn't have to replace the entire roof. They could do cash value.
The Speaker quizzed us on bills Florida lawmakers have considered in past sessions. But he never answered our question about why it's okay to wait to fix this crisis. And the Speaker says that he is a champion for consumers. He wants families to have the option to pay less money for less coverage or more money for more coverage. Senator Brandis just told me that he will get the 32 signatures that he needs in order to go to the next step. Do you support his efforts? And if yes, why not just call the special session yourself?
Well, I do. I absolutely support what Senator Brandis is doing. Clearly, you know, we have dysfunctions in that market that could be fixed. We need to have a vibrant market where people are able to get policies at an affordable rate. So I thank him for what he's doing.
Governor Ron DeSantis showing support for State Senator Jeff Brandis's push to address Florida's property insurance crisis. Senator Brandis has the signatures he needs to advance a legislative maneuver to force a special session. At 5 p.m. Monday, Senator Brandis delivered these 37 letters from fellow lawmakers to Secretary of State Laura Lee's office. Brandis's delivery triggers a poll of the entire legislature. Secretary Lee has 7 days to email lawmakers and ask if they support a special session. If 3/5 of each chamber votes yes, Secretary Lee will set the date.
I'm excited to have his support. I think it's incredibly important and necessary, obviously, that he sign on to any piece of legislation, which the legislature does.
Stacey Keith, people are seeing their premiums double. Fraud is driving that. Last year, the state received more than 1,700 tips or reports of property insurance fraud, but in the end, just 14 people were convicted. The question now, is Florida doing enough to deter this crime?
So we started at 1,700 and we've held accountable 14 convictions, and that concerns me a little bit.
The Florida Department of Financial Services is responsible for stopping property insurance fraud. Lawmakers say the frequency of fraud, specifically roofing scams, is causing the market to collapse. At a House committee meeting in October, DFS Director Simon Blank was pressed on the agency's conviction rate.
Are we aggressively pursuing that?
Homeowner cases are in particularly kind of hard to work. They're very time consuming.
Blank explains the complex cases. Here's how it often works. Contractors promise a free roof, submit an inflated claim, then sue the insurance company. The company eventually settles, losing millions and passing the cost down to you. For months, 8 on Your Side has documented the toll of soaring rates on homeowners.
We have got to be able to have more resources available to dedicated insurance prosecutors.
Jimmy Petronis is the head of DFS. At a news conference announcing grants to protect firefighters, we asked the CFO about fraud.
So you're not happy with 14 people convicted last year. You want to see more people convicted for property insurance fraud.
I personally don't want to see anybody convicted, okay? The reason I want to see anybody convicted because the laws right now are allowing this sketchy activity. I can't call it illegal because it's not illegal.
Well, you're convicting people, so it is illegal. They're committing fraud.
And what we are prosecuting are those that have really made a mistake in their unscrupulous business scheme they've got.
I'm just trying to get a sense of if you need more help to fight this.
I can always use more help, but the help that we really need is with the Florida legislature to close the loopholes they're allowing the gaming of the system. That is what's driving your insurance rates up.
The CFO seemed to say you cannot enforce your way out of this. Now, the day after that exchange, Petronis announced that he wanted to hire 23 new people to fight property insurance fraud. That request will be made to lawmakers during the special session.
Can lawmakers find a way to fix Florida's property insurance crisis as homeowners see their policies canceled and premiums skyrocketing? A special session is underway in Tallahassee. Good evening, I'm Stacy Scheibel.
I'm Keith Kate. Thank you for joining us tonight. The proposal on the table would ban insurance companies from automatically refusing coverage to homeowners with older roofs.
Yes, it also provides homeowners with state dollars to storm-proof homes and limit attorney's fees in lawsuits. 8 on Your Side investigator Masa Saidi has been reporting on these problems, this crisis in Florida for months now. She joins us live from Tallahassee with who's really being hit hard here.
Keith and Stacy, it's everyday people. Like you said, I have been on the story for months, and the problem is clear. Excessive, expensive litigation. Recent data shows 3 out of 4 property insurance lawsuits in the entire country happen right here in Florida. Tonight, the question is why, and what are lawmakers assembled here going to do about it?
A view of Beverly Hills from above, but this Citrus County town isn't filled with celebrities. Instead, it's home to working families and seniors like Kathy Metz.
My roof is old. It is just wear and tear.
But last month, Kathy says a roofer told her otherwise, knocking on her door with this flyer in hand.
I knew I did not have storm damage. I cannot, in good faith, let somebody bill my insurance company when it's not, in fact, a legitimate claim.
Kathy reported the encounter. Another homeowner filed a similar complaint with the Attorney General, writing, quote, "Our residence does not have storm damage. This company did door hangers throughout our neighborhood."
So she's alleging that your company is saying people have storm damage when they don't.
I called the company to get their side. In a statement, the founder told me, quote, "We pride ourselves on educating property owners. Many customers are unaware of roof damage." This company aside, lawmakers say inflated claims cost us all. At times, it's fraud.
You created a task force to combat election-related fraud.
We asked Governor Ron DeSantis for a solution.
Do you support creating a task force to combat property insurance fraud as well?
We're doing the special session, so you had asked about that, and we're doing it. I would love to see anti-fraud measures. We're going head on. I want to take on as much as we can, and I want to get it done.
Meantime, Kathy, a retired nurse, did upgrade her roof. She chose a different company, and her pocketbook took a hit.
It was finished yesterday. It's at my expense, not the insurance company.
And the bills cleared 2 key committees today. Tomorrow they will be debated before the full Senate. And Keith and Stacy, you both know the time is of the essence. Hurricane season starts in just 9 days. Keith, this has been a long-standing problem and a complicated one. We are committed to helping you understand why it continues and your rates are going up.
It is the worst I've ever seen in 17 years.
Alan McGinnis sells property insurance to homeowners. Lately, his phone has been ringing off the hook. Homeowners desperate, dealing with rate hikes and cancellations as Florida enters hurricane season. Alan says the proposed legislation during special session doesn't address a major problem.
The issue is roofs, roofs, and roofs. That's it. It's roof replacement schemes that are absolutely wrecking consumers who aren't looking for a free roof.
We're a nonprofit association for contractors, by contractors.
Richie Kidwell, president of the Restoration Association of Florida, says roofers are the ones fighting for you. He's not a fan of the proposed bills either.
There's nothing in the bill that says if we hit X, we will lower rates.
Richie says Florida's insurance commissioners rubber stamping rate hikes, creating this crisis. But data shows Florida has a lawsuit problem. According to the Insurance Information Institute, last year Florida had more than 100,000 property insurance lawsuits. In comparison, no other state had more than 900. Richie says in Florida, insurance companies slow walk claims.
Why do we have so many more lawsuits if we don't have a roofing issue?
Well, I think the other part of the equation that we're missing is there's 6.5 million policies out there. 2 years after Hurricane Michael, they said 20,000 claims were still open. You know, what do you think you're going to do if you haven't been paid in 6 months, a year? The only recourse is to file suit.
Wouldn't that also be happening in other states?
Florida just seems to be a litigious state, only for the fact to create this crisis. We didn't see rates come up until January, and why is that reason? It was because a session was coming and they had to create a crisis.
So moments ago, Florida's insurance commissioner David Altmaier was grilled by lawmakers here in the House. They wanted to know why he had approved so many rate hikes in recent months. Keith and Stacy, the general consensus from both parties is these bills are a step in the right direction. So here's what they do. They make it easier for you to keep your coverage. Insurance companies can't cancel you because your roof is old. You're safe as long as your roof is not more than 15 years old. But lawmakers did not put any sort of cap on rates. You could see your rates double next year, and lawmakers from, again, both sides of the aisle agree there's no telling when rates are going to go down. Tonight, the Florida House chamber empty. Lawmakers heading home after approving 2 sweeping property insurance bills. It's an attempt to stabilize the market with hurricane season looming. But Hillsborough State Rep Andrew Lernet says in the coming days, expect insurance companies will fail, policies will be dropped, and rates will go up. Was it worth it?
No, we did not do enough to address this crisis.
Many contend Florida is a factory of litigation for roof claims. Lernet says 25 attorneys filed 1 out of 3 property insurance lawsuits in the state, and the bills don't go far enough to stop them.
It seems like some attorneys are manufacturing claims. Is that true or not?
I don't believe that's true.
Attorney Ron Haynes sues insurance companies for homeowners. He's a member of the Florida Justice Association, or FJA, a nonprofit organization of plaintiffs' attorneys. Haynes points the finger at roofers.
I've had roofers approach me personally, and I said, no, it's insurance fraud. I had no storm go through my neighborhood. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want you on my property.
You agree that these band of roofers exist?
Absolutely.
How big of a problem are they?
I think they were a problem, but the legislature was very successful last year in addressing that.
Florida's insurance commissioner says the majority of property insurance lawsuits happen in our state. Haynes and his organization FJA don't buy it.
So we were questioning how they actually got the data, and of course they won't reveal that to us. And so we believe those numbers are skewed.
So we have been on this story for months for you, and here's my biggest takeaway from this special session. The different stakeholders don't agree on basic data, but the bills are going to require insurance companies to be more transparent, and they also require the Office of Insurance Regulation to track all of this better so we have a more clear picture of what's happening and everybody's not just pointing the finger at each other.
Okay, so that's the glass half full. So we expect the governor's going to sign these 2 bills. What other changes are coming, do you see?
Okay, so the bills create a fund that will allow you to access state dollars if you want to storm-proof your home. They will match whatever you put in. They put in more limits for attorney fees. We've heard that that's a huge problem. They also make it easier for insurance companies to buy reinsurance. The state has created a $2 billion fund, but again, People from both sides of the aisle say that's not enough. And Keith, they do expect that more insurance companies are going to fail, that people are going to lose their policy up to $1 million, and the rates will go up again. Well, lawmakers passed reforms last month, and they say that the market will eventually stabilize. Until that happens, we are going to continue to report on what's happening on the ground.
We have been literally every day stressed.
Hurricane season day 2, and Tina Hemme is scrambling to secure coverage. A month ago, Lighthouse Property Insurance sent her a cancellation notice. The company was losing money and forced to liquidate.
Right now, paradise doesn't look like paradise does anymore.
As Tina waits for Florida's new property insurance laws to kick in, news that another company, Heritage Insurance, is suspending new business in multiple counties, including Polk County. Heritage joining 3 others, also declining to take on new homeowners in parts of the state. Southern Fidelity, ASI Progressive, and People's Trust. But why is this happening now, after the special session that was supposed to fix this crisis? We asked State Senator Jim Boyd, one of the architects of the new laws.
I think some of the carriers, were contemplating that before we went into session as respects to their writings and trying to limit their writings. That's not entirely unusual. I believe we've done good work, and I'd like to see those results play out.
So we got the notice on April 29th.
Tina has called her local lawmakers to ask for help. She claims she hasn't heard back. It's likely Citizens, the insurer of last resort, will be her only resort.
I don't feel like they're listening in Tallahassee. Our church, our friends, our life is here. So the idea that we would be to the point where we want to sell and move is not really what we want to do. If this is how it's going to be, it's not worth it.
And Tina is hoping to finalize a contract with Citizens Insurance. Stacey and Keith, this crisis is hitting our seniors especially hard. One man tells me the sudden price hike is putting his future at risk.
When I opened that up, I almost cried. My stomach was in knots.
Tad Buell's property insurance is increasing nearly 100%. The market is in crisis, but lawmakers ended the regular session without passing any reforms. Now no one will take the lead to assemble a special session for a fix. Not the governor, Senate President, or House Speaker.
I have been on disability since 2004.
Where will you get this extra cash to pay this?
I don't know. I don't know where or what else I can cut out of my lifestyle.
But you can see
66-year-old Robert Luss doesn't know when, if ever, he can afford to retire.
I'm in business. I can't raise my prices 60% to my customers. And when I started shopping for quotes, I was pretty much told, stay where I'm at.
So can you lower your premium? Florida's insurance consumer advocate Tasha Carter says yes.
Take advantage of all of the discounts that the insurance company offers.
First, install wind mitigation features on your roof, garage, and windows. Next, get credit for having a security system, smoke detector, or generator. Finally, conduct a survey of your personal property and review your coverage.
Sometimes consumers may be paying for coverages that they do not need.
Tad says all he needs is to keep the roof over his head. He hopes lawmakers head back to Tallahassee and find a fix.
If you only knew, excuse me, I almost kiss the floor every time I walk in that door, because that street right there, I will not survive.
So powerful. Now, a lot of homeowners are now turning to Citizens Insurance, the state-backed companies meant to be a last resort option, but for many people, it is becoming the only resort. In 2 years, Citizens has gone from having 480,000 policies to more than 800,000. They think they're going to have more than 1 million by the end of the year.